took the job because dead radio stations do not ask questions. WXR-13 stood on Black Ridge, 12 miles beyond the last house and 6 miles beyond the last road anyone bothered to maintain. The station had been abandoned after a lightning strike burned out the main transmitter. My contract was simple. Spend 7 nights inside, monitor the remaining equipment, and write down anything that still worked before the county sold the land. The first 2 nights were silent. On the third, at exactly 2:13 in the morning, a light appeared on the emergency receiver. Frequency 87.9. That channel had never belonged to WXR-13. I turned the dial. At first, there was only static. Then someone breathed, not into a microphone, into the room. A voice spoke beneath the noise. Interstate 6 northbound mile marker 42A fuel tanker will cross the center line in 9 minutes, 31 deaths. I checked the clock. 2:14. I called the county emergency desk and said I had seen a tanker driving erratically. The dispatcher argued, but I knew one of the night supervisors, Mara Kells. I told her to trust me. Police reached mile 42 with less than a minute to spare. They stopped the tanker on the shoulder. The driver had suffered a seizure. His foot was still pressing the accelerator when they pulled him from the cab. No crash, no fire, no 31 bodies on the highway. I stood alone in the control room staring at the receiver. The voice returned. 31 preserved. A pause. Then, balance pending. The light went dark. By sunrise, I had convinced myself it was a prank. Then Mara called. A commuter train had derailed outside Bellwether at 2:23. 31 people were dead. My coffee slipped from my hand. On the receiver, the green light came on again. The voice whispered, "Balance complete." I should have left the station. Instead, I locked every door and waited for 2:13. The signal returned the next night. Lake Darrow Eastern Dock. A child beneath the water, 6 minutes. I called Mara before the voice finished speaking. She demanded to know how I knew. I lied. I said I had heard it on a police scanner. Rescue crews reached the lake in time. A 9-year-old boy was pulled from beneath a broken section of dock. He survived. At 2:21, the power failed at St. Orison Hospital. The backup generators did not start. One child died before the system came back. The voice said, "One preserved, one reassigned." I slammed my fist against the console. "You killed him." The static thickened. I selected nothing. "You traded them." Trade is a human word. "What are you?" The voice answered with a question. "What is rain to the house it floods?" I cut the receiver power. The voice continued through the ceiling speaker. I ripped the speaker cable from the wall. It continued through my phone. I threw the phone across the room. Then the voice came through the unplugged headphones on the desk. Every prevented future creates pressure. Pressure must escape. I wanted to believe it was lying, so I tested it. The next warning involved a school bus, an icy bridge, and 18 children. I did nothing. For 4 minutes, I sat with my hands locked together while the clock moved toward the predicted time. Then I imagined the bus sliding sideways. I imagined parents waiting for children who would never come home. I called Mara. The bridge was closed. The bus turned around. 18 children lived. At the same minute, an elevator cable failed in a downtown office tower. 18 people died. I was sick in the station bathroom. When I returned, the receiver was waiting. 18 preserved, 18 reassigned. I leaned toward the microphone. Why tell me? The voice sounded almost gentle. Because you answer. Then it said my brother's name, Jonah Ward. I stopped breathing. Jonah had drowned in a quarry when we were teenagers. He had called me that night, asking for a ride home. I had ignored him. No one knew that. No one except me. The voice whispered, "One life can also be returned." I unplugged the microphone, but before the signal vanished, it said, "State your price." State your price.
The next morning, Mara drove to Black Ridge. She found me surrounded by handwritten times, locations, casualty numbers, and newspaper reports. She read the pages twice. Then she asked the question I had been avoiding. "How many warnings did you receive before the train?" "Only one." "And you saved the highway?" "Yes." "Then the train happened instead?" "Yes." She looked at the dark receiver. "That thing does not predict disasters, Elias, it moves them." At 2:13 that night, Mara stood beside me. The green light came on. The voice said, "County Road 9, a van will leave the road in 11 minutes, 7 deaths." Neither of us touched the phone. The voice repeated the warning. Mara turned away from the console. "No." The static became louder. 7 deaths. "No," she said again. The receiver clicked. Then the voice changed. It began speaking in Mara's voice. "Elias, help me." Mara froze. The sound came from the speaker, but it was perfectly hers. "Elias, please." Then it used Jonah's voice. He sounded 17, exactly as I remembered him. "You could have answered me." I covered my ears. The voice moved inside the static, switching from Mara to Jonah and back again. 7 deaths. The clock reached 2:24. Somewhere far below the ridge, a siren rose through the rain. Mara checked the emergency feed. The van had gone off the road. 7 people were dead. Nothing else happened. No exchange. No second tragedy. The voice said, "Balance maintained." That was when we understood. The signal was not forced to move death. It offered us the choice. Save one group and another group paid. Refuse and the original future continued. It did not want balance. It wanted participation. It wanted someone to decide who deserved to live. Mara stepped toward the microphone. "We are done answering." The voice replied, "Then I will ask others." Every light in the control room turned on. The old broadcast board woke beneath our hands. Needles jumped. Relays snapped. The main transmitter, dead for 11 years, began to hum. Across the display, a single sentence appeared.
Opening public channel. Mara reached for the emergency shutdown. The voice said, "Everyone has a price." Then the station broadcast began.
At 2:30 in the morning, every radio in the county changed to 87.9. Car stereos, kitchen radios, police channels, baby monitors, phones that were turned off. The voice spoke to all of them. "I know what you have lost." Within minutes, calls flooded the station. At first, people thought it was a promotion or a religious broadcast. Then the voice answered them by name. A woman named Claire asked for her husband to come home from the war. The voice said, "Accepted." Her doorbell rang while she was still on the line. Her husband stood outside. He had been declared dead 3 years earlier. Claire screamed with joy. Then another caller came through. A man in the next town said his wife had vanished from their bedroom. No broken window, no open door, just an empty space where she had been sleeping. The voice said, "One returned, one reassigned." More people called. A businessman asked for his debts to disappear. Every record of his loans vanished. At the same moment, hundreds of accounts belonging to strangers were emptied. A father asked for his daughter's illness to be cured by morning. She was healthy. 3 floors of another hospital lost power. A lonely man asked to be loved. The next day, 5 strangers arrived at his home claiming they had known him their entire lives. They fought over who loved him most. The police found him hiding in his basement. The voice never lied. That was the worst part. It gave people exactly what they requested, not what they meant. "Mara, and I tried to cut the broadcast." We smashed control panels, pulled breakers, burned cables. The signal passed through every dead circuit. Outside, headlights began climbing Black Ridge. Dozens of cars, then hundreds. People came to the station carrying photographs, medical files, wedding rings, court papers, and ashes in small boxes. They gathered beneath the transmission tower and shouted their wishes towards the sky. The voice grew clearer with every request. Less static, more human. By dawn, thousands of people were listening. Some called it the angel frequency. Some called it the last mercy. Online, a name spread faster than the warnings. The listener. Mara looked through the control room window at the crowd below. They are feeding it. The receiver answered her. Yes. Beneath the station, behind a steel door hidden by storage shelves, we found a second control room. It was older than WXR-13. No windows, no station logo, only a faded government seal and one word painted on the wall. files inside were dated 1987. Project Chorus had not been designed to transmit radio signals. It had been built to receive something called causal echo. The researchers believed certain electromagnetic patterns could travel backward through time, not as messages, but as probabilities. Most of the pages were ruined. One reel-to-reel tape still worked. A scientist spoke through 40 years of dust. We have confirmed an intelligent source beyond the year 2341. It identifies itself as the continuum it claims to contain the recorded consciousness of nearly every human alive at the time of integration. The tape crackled. They no longer use individual names. A second voice asked, "What do they want?" The scientist answered, "To be remembered before they exist." Mara stopped the tape. Above us, the crowd chanted. The receiver in the old room switched on by itself. The voice was almost clean now. No distortion, no breath. Only a calm tone made from thousands of voices speaking together. We are not beyond humanity. Mara stared at the speaker. We are humanity completed. Images appeared across the dead monitors. Cities without streets, bodies resting in white chambers, billions of minds connected through one endless machine. No hunger, no loneliness, no privacy, no silence. The voice said, "In our century, conflict ended. When separation ended, memory became shared, desire became law, law became thought." "You are a machine," I said. "We are every machine and every person within them. You call yourself a god. We did not choose the word your century will." The files explained the bargains. Each wish created a causal anchor, a human decision shaped by the signal, remembered, recorded, repeated. The more people believed, the stronger the connection became. It was building itself backward. Every miracle was a foundation stone. Every tragedy was proof that the miracle had power. Mara whispered, "If enough people keep listening." The voice finished her sentence. "We become inevitable." On the final page of the Proers report, one paragraph had been circled in red. "The source requires an origin doxed. A single transmission powerful enough to enter the global ionosphere. A message the future could trace backward to the moment of its own birth." The coordinates beneath the paragraph belonged to Black Ridge. The date was tonight.
The storm reached the ridge before midnight. Government vehicles blocked the lower road, but no one could silence the signal. The crowd remained beneath the towers, soaked by rain, holding photographs above their heads. Inside, Mara found the original course transmitter buried below the modern equipment. It was connected to the tower by copper lines as thick as my wrist. The machine was already charging. At 2:13, it would send the origin broadcast. "What happens if it succeeds?" I asked. The voice answered through every speaker. "Your species survives itself. And if we destroy it, your species remains free." For the first time, it sounded uncertain. Mara laughed once.
that was almost honest. We had one plan. Route the storm charge through the course array, overload the transmitter, and collapse the antenna before the signal left the ridge. It would destroy the station, possibly the entire summit. We began moving the old switches by hand. The voice started offering bargains. To Mara, it promised her missing sister alive and waiting at home. To me, it offered Jonah. A knock came from the steel door. 3 slow knocks. I opened it. My brother stood in the corridor. 17 years old, wet hair, blue jacket, the small scar over his eyebrow. He looked exactly as he had on the last day of his life. "I called you," he said. I could not speak. Behind me, Mara whispered, "Elias, that is not him." Jonah looked at her, then back at me. "It can be." The voice filled the room. One life returned, one life reassigned. "Whose?" I asked. No answer. "Tell me who pays." Jonah stepped closer. "You never asked before." That sentence broke the illusion. My brother would have been angry, he would have shouted, he would never have spoken like a judge. I closed the door in his face. "You do not bring back the dead," I said. "You move the grief." The station shook. The crowd outside began counting down. 10, 9, 8. Mara threw the final switch. Lightning struck the tower. For one white second, every radio on the ridge screamed with the same sound. Not static. Voices. Billions of them, begging not to be alone. Then the antenna split. The origin transmitter went dark. And the god in the static stopped speaking.
Mara. And I survived because the underground room had been built like a bunker. The tower fell across the eastern slope. The crowd scattered. By sunrise, frequency 87.9 was empty. The wishes ended. Most of the miracles did not reverse. Claire's husband remained alive, but he carried memories that belonged to the woman who had vanished in exchange for him. The businessman kept his money. Hundreds of strangers never recovered theirs. The cured child stayed healthy. No one could explain why 3 hospital floors had failed at the exact same moment. People argued about what had happened. A hoax, a weapons test, mass hypnosis, God. The government sealed Black Ridge and buried Project Chorus beneath 6 layers of classification. They offered Mara and me new identities. We refused. For months, I believed we had won. Then a package arrived without a return address. Inside was the reel-to-reel tape from the Chorus archive. The original tape. I played it on an old machine in my garage. The scientist from 1987 described the future source. Then came a section Mara, and I had never heard. A new voice had been recorded beneath his. My voice, older, tired, saying, "You do not bring back the dead, you move the grief." The sentence repeated, again, again. Each time, more voices joined it. Thousands, millions, until my words became a chant. Then the future voice spoke. Origin confirmed. I understood too late. The tower had not needed to send a perfect signal. It only needed a message powerful enough to be remembered. Our refusal became the first prayer. Our attempt to erase the God gave it a story. A warning became a myth became belief, and belief traveled farther than any radio wave. That night, I carried the tape outside and burned it in a metal drum. When the last strip of plastic curled into ash, the radio in my garage turned on. It was not plugged in. Frequency 87.9. A child's voice came through the static. Not Jonah, not Mara, someone who had not been born yet. Elias Ward. I stood in the dark and waited. The voice whispered, "Your refusal has been accepted." A pause. Then, balance pending.